Gentlemen, let's go to our waiver wire for the last week of the season. Alex, take it away.
We have 10 teams with only 3 games next week. The rest have 4. But I'm going to hand out my first suggestion, which is my available in 50% of leagues player, Bones Hyland of the LA Clippers, who is 44% rostered in Yahoo. There was a stretch there where he was not a rotation player after we had suggested him and that he was lighting fantasy teams up earlier in the year. But now, since Paul George went down with a leg injury, Bones Hyland, 17 points on 52% shooting, 46% from 3, 7 dimes, 3 rebounds, and just over a steal in 24 minutes. Clippers only have 3 games next week, but the numbers he's putting up, I think, make him still worth rostering. The only concerns I would have about this, Norman Powell just came back from an injury. That didn't slow down Bones yesterday, but at the same time, Kawhi Leonard was out. And so the rotation's a little bit in flux, but Marcus Morris might be out. I still think he's just worth taking a chance on, given what he's done lately.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love Bones. I've been a big fan of Bones. Since he entered the league, his per 36 stats are ridiculous. Like you mentioned, 17-7 in 24 minutes per game that's insane. 17-7, 24 minutes per over the last 4 games. I do think there's some risk involved because the rotation will be a little bit wonky for the Clippers down the stretch, but they also are going to be in a scenario most likely where they're locked into their seed for the last couple games of the season, and Bones is a guy who gets extra run because of it.
So who'd you go with instead?
I went dollar, as is my usual mode. I went dollar with Luke Kennard of the Memphis Grizzlies, who's managed in 35% of Yahoo leagues, only 7% of ESPN. Memphis does have 4 games. Look, Grizzlies need offense and outside shooting right now. Last 9 games, Kennard over 15 points a game, 4 made threes, almost a steal a game while shooting 61% from the field. He's gotten a few spot starts with Bane hurt. Bane's been in and out with foot injuries. They rested Conchar again, though Bane will play tonight. Memphis is 2 games up on Sacramento for second with only 6 games to go. So I think you're going to see some Bane resting, some Morant resting to end of the season. I think they're going to give Luke Kennard a lot of run.
Yes, they probably will. He is on an absolute heater, 61% from downtown over those past 9 games. It's just bonkers. If you're looking for a late season push in the 3-pointer category, Kennard is a solid option. I'm going back to the well for my first pick. Xavier Tillman has picked up his production recently, but he's still available in a good number of leagues, rostered in 38% of Yahoo, 8% of ESPN. Tillman's been solid. He's been locked into the starting lineup for the Grizzlies over the past 3 games. He's picked up his production, 32.3 minutes, 17 points, 8.7 rebounds, 2.7 stocks, shooting, speaking of a heater, 80% from the floor over those 3 games. A free throw percentage is not great, 60%, but he's doing a little bit of everything right now. Steven Adams is out for the year. Brandon Clark's out for the year. So Tillman's going to continue to get run. I wouldn't be surprised.
They need rebounds. They need a rebounder with Adams and Clark out.
Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., not the greatest rebounder for a big man. Tillman does pick up the slack there. The Grizzlies, a similar scenario where they could sit some of their regulars down the stretch. I believe they will be locked into the 2 seed in short order here. And once that happens, Tillman could get extra run. Absolutely love
Tillman was born 30 years too late. He looks like he should be on one of those 90s NBA squads.
Yes.
Maybe one of the bad ones, but
he also does look like he's got the grandpa face thing going on.
He does. He's got a grandpa face where it looks like he did play in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to my long shot of the week, which is not quite a long shot. It's only because of the roster rate of 5%, but Obi Toppin of the New York Knicks. Julius Randle out for the rest of the regular season. Toppin has not seen more than 26 minutes in a game this season. I think his season high is 17 points, but per 36, 16 points, 7 boards, 2 assists. Obviously, I don't think he's going to see 36 minutes a game, but I think with the increased usage, if he does see about 30 minutes a game, he could get to 15 and 7. New York only has 3 games next week, which is not great, but this is a guy I think worth, if you're going to get into a bidding war, if you got a ton of fab remaining, you got to empty it. So why not take a chance on Toppin, who's available in even the deepest of leagues. So for some guys, if you're in a 16-plus team league, this could be, and you're on the bubble, could potentially be a huge pickup for you.
If Obi Toppin's ever going to be a meaningful Nick, ever, in his career, now is the time.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm not sure it'll happen, but he's got to do it now.
He's just never going to get enough run while Randall's healthy and on the roster. But the good news, and like, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Knicks did something crazy and don't start Toppin.
Jericho Sims.
Yeah, like go small and have Josh Hart start, with Barrett.
Yeah, that might happen.
And Grimes and Brunson with Mitch Robb and Harkenstein at the 5. But Toppin did start the second half on Wednesday with Randall out. So that's a good indication he will move into the starting lineup. And even if he doesn't for some odd reason, I think he'll still see the 25 plus minutes and be worth be a very worthwhile addition to your fantasy team down the stretch.
And Shannon, you bring up a good point. Josh Hart's available 27% of leagues. Just check your waiver wire. There's going to be a lot of rebounds for Josh Hart to get in a lot of minutes.
Ken, who is your long shot this week?
My long shot, another New York Knick and another repeat. But Quentin Grimes is still only managed in 28% of Yahoo leagues. This is insanity, people. Insanity, I tell you. Only 6% of ESPN. The man is on fire. Last 4 games, 21 points, 6 rebounds, over 4 assists a game, shooting 54% from the field. He made 5 threes per game over his last 4 games. Randall out means more shots for everybody. The one caveat's the same as yours, Alex. Knicks only have 3 games next week. But how is Quentin Grimes not managed in more leagues? How?
He's been a man possessed lately. The usage rate's crazy. I watched that Orlando game. He just touched it. I mean, he's got a super quick release. Like, they throw him the ball, and the ball was halfway to the basket by the time. Yeah. So I think he'll continue to stay aggressive. I like the pick. Shannon.
Beating the same drum. I feel like this has to be said, but with Halliburton, most likely out for the remainder of the season. Andrew Nembhard, who we've talked about before, 28% rostered on Yahoo, 7% on ESPN. Nembhard's been fantastic for the Pacers whenever Halliburton is out. He's picked up his production very nicely over the past couple games. His assist totals in particular, he had a big 15 and 15 game earlier this week. But Nembhard should get additional run with Halliburton out. TJ McConnell, of course, will get extra minutes as well. But I like Nembhard. He should be rostered in more leagues than he is currently. And then Drew Eubanks, another guy who we've brought up here numerous times throughout the season. Eubanks is back in the starting lineup. Nurkic has been out for the past 4 games, probably out for the season. The Blazers already ruled out Dame Lillard for the remainder of the season. I would imagine Simons and Nurkic and Jeremy Grant are soon to follow. And with that, guys like Eubanks are going to get more minutes. Eubanks he can give you he'll have games where he has 4 or 5 assists. He can pick up those. He can rebound decently. Over the past 4 games, all starts, 26.5 minutes, 9 points, 7.8 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 3.5 stocks.
Portland with 4 games next week too.
Yep.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Eubanks lately. We've also seen a lot of Kevin Knox lately. That's been kind of alarming. But yeah, you got to keep an eye on a lot of those Portland guys. I mean, we also have Trendon Watford out. He was supposed to be the tanking king. But I think he'll actually return.
Played well when he was the king, and then he's out 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah. Any of those Portland guys, Nas Little.
Nasir Little. Yeah.
There's any of those options. If you're in daily leagues, I think take advantage of that and stream some of these guys in.
Okay, Ken. The last boring pick of the year.
Oh, my last boring pick of the year. Deni Avdja of Washington, another repeat from this season. Managed in 50% of Yahoo leagues and only 20% of ESPN. Washington has 4 games this week. Avdja's on a heater, including that beatdown of the Celtics earlier this week. Over the last 5 games, Avdja with 4 starts, over 18 points, almost 10 rebounds, over 5 assists, 1 steal while shooting 64%. The Wizards might finally be getting the Deni Avdja they hoped for when they made him a lottery pick a couple of years ago. Kid's young. He's still only 21, 22. Beal's probably done for the year, right, with the knee issues. Is Kuzma done for the year? Both are out tonight, creating a lot of shots for Avdja. So I like Deni for the last week of the season.
Yeah, I wish he's one of the most inconsistent players in the NBA, isn't he? It's pretty ridiculous.
He's been on a nice run lately, though. Get him on a peak.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He has
young developing guy, but I think unlike a lot of other terrible lottery picks made by Washington, he actually might be finally coming into his own.
The scenario where when Kuzma and Beal are both out really suits him best, because then he can just take the lead, have the ball in his hands more often, which is what he needs to really be productive like he has been the last 4 games.
And driving to the hoop with a little more confidence, which is good to see. Had been a little tentative and a little settling for bad jump shots historically.
Try RotoWire free. Go to rotowire.com/try and unlock the paywall by putting in your email.